back, everybody. Slim Slam and the Bandwagon Fan coming to you with a very special, I guess, electronic episode tonight. I'm Slim, he's Slam, and electronically joining me to my left is the Bandwagon Fan.
Call Centre Tom.
Proudly brought to you, as always, by the Jersey Cartel over on Facebook, and, of course, JRV Electrical as well. Boys, how are we?
Holy shit, Blaze. One, it's hot, and holy shit, those games.
Yeah, it was probably
Christ.
A lot of people are calling it the best weekend of NFL action potentially of all time.
15 points separating those four games there, Blaze. Three of the games on game-winning kicks as time expired, and then obviously the last one, a game-tying kick as time expired.
So absolutely special. You don't see that every year.
So really 9 points difference in regulation terms.
Correct.
Even crazy.
Correct. So Bandwagon Fan, obviously locked away there in quarantine tonight. Doing it tough, mate. Sipping on a Negroni over there, not the traditional red wine as usual.
Nah, I didn't want to crack a bottle to myself tonight. Thought it might be a bit too much for, a Tuesday. But hey, after the weekend of footy we had, let me tell you what, it was nearly half keen. I'll tell you what, all the games were good, but boy, did we end with one of the greatest games I've ever seen. Took me right back to that Rams and Chiefs game about 3 years ago, Slammer.
It did, yeah.
I had big-time vibes.
Except we won this time, which was nice.
I know.
The result was obviously... Well, I think... Why don't we just launch straight into the Chiefs off the top? Because I think that's the one everyone wants to talk about.
Well, we can if you want to. We'll go reverse order.
We'll go reverse order. We'll go the game of the weekend and work our way up.
The game that he's alluding to there, what was that, 3 years ago?
Yep.
3 years ago.
Often referred to as the best game we've ever seen.
Yeah, arguably the best game I've ever seen, full stop. And we lost. And it was still that good.
Yep.
Could be in for a rematch of that in the Super Bowl as well. Potentially get the game we should have seen 3 Super Bowls ago.
Correct. And obviously the overtime connotations there, Shinazi, that were at play that year have come back to...
Really comes full circle.
It does, yeah. It's the circle of life, as they say.
So the game we're referring to was the game it was 2018, 20th of November.
Monday night
54 to 51.
Monday
night football. And that was between the Rams and the Chiefs.
And there would have been like 2 or 3 turnovers on both sides there. It was just a crazy game.
It was unbelievable, and we were all in the same room that day, and we watched it. Unfortunately, on the weekend, we were not all in the same room to watch the Bills and the Chiefs go at it. But
I couldn't have been.
Yeah, no, it was intense.
I had you up on the roof jumping off with about 13 seconds to go.
Yeah.
After Gabe Davis went down and scored his 4th TD, I was like, "Oh, there, we've lost Slammer."
Well, I shot you boys a message at the time how I was an hour and a half late coming back from my lunch break at work because I got sucked in a little bit. I spent most of that, in health at the moment, you're not allowed to eat in share spaces. So I was out in my car having lunch, watching the game, and I was in the car park. I was on the top floor, and when they went in with 13 seconds to go on the clock, there was, it could have been dark times.
Yeah.
It was really...
during the ad break, I walked out of the kitchen, grabbed the toaster, and started running the bath.
Oh, so, Jesus! Yeah. I mean, let's try and step our way through it. Obviously, it was a game for the ages. It started off
hell of a game,
much as people expected. Buffalo and KC trading blows, and it really went the whole game like that. And it did feel like the team that had the ball last was going to win, and that's what ended up happening.
It really did, Blaze. Costly missed field goal at the end of the first half by us. Would have put us up 17-14 and getting the ball first to start the third quarter. Missed that one just narrowly to the right, which would have given us a nice buffer. And then Buffalo actually stalled on their first drive of the second half as well. So we could have gotten ourselves into double-digit lead there, which we did at once. So we got out to a 10-point lead in the third, I reckon. And then, as I said to you, when they scored and got gone, because they scored on that 75-yarder that got them back within 3 and in a hurry with about a quarter to go.
Yeah.
And then we were like, it was obviously going to come down to be close. But it was sort of like, as long as we just keep scoring, they can't catch up.
Yeah.
But faltered once, and then nobody faltered again.
Yeah.
It was just wild, though, wasn't it? Like, they scored with 2 minutes to go, and it's like, plenty of time. We'll be fine. And then we scored a minute to go, and it's like, oh, that might be too much time for them. And it's like, crap. And then when there was 13 seconds to go, I was pretty much like, nah, there's no way. And everyone's bagging them for not squib kicking. but it's like if you squib kick, that kick gets to like our 25 at best, and then Miko Hardman could run that back to the 50, and then you've still got 7 seconds, like because the clock doesn't start till he touches the ball. So you could have had 7, 8, 9 seconds from the 50, and then we're talking potentially 2 plays that get us to the 20, and then that's just a chip shot field goal. So I didn't think the decision from them to kick it out the back of the end zone was a dumb one. Like 75 yards, you got to go 50 yards in 14 seconds.
I think Schnazi, you can probably speak to this a bit as well. Like people, when you get a game like that and it's so close and it goes down to the last play, people are always going to nitpick different areas. So
people are going to be critical, right? They're going to have hindsight front of mind, and they're going to pick out all the wrong things you did during that game. And as Slammer said, was it you missed an extra point, Slammer, you missed a field goal? If you kick those two, probably the game's over there, especially when the Bills stalled on their first drive. But I think the biggest thing I took out of this game is like, watching this game, you just got the feeling that whoever won this game was just going to go all the way. Like, the Bills haven't faltered all postseason, and you can't even say they faltered against the Chiefs, and neither did the Chiefs fault, and they've been sensational the last 2 weeks. So I would have, as all the memes have been going around and saying, I think Blaze, you said in the group message, like, we want to see a best of 7 game series.
Like Josh Allen threw 9 touchdowns in 2 weeks, and he's not going through to the next round. Like, that's just stupid.
Isn't this the stat is pretty much that he threw as many touchdowns as he did incompletions in the postseason, and he's gone home.
Yeah, we had 10.
Yeah. So like that's absurd. There had to be a loser. Ultimately, that's the way the cookie crumbles. I will stay on. There's obviously a lot of talk around the overtime rules and all the rest of it. In 2000, what was the year? 18.
Yeah.
The Chiefs got the raw end of the deal with Tom Brady, and all the GMs and all the owners got together and they had a vote on whether they wanted to change the overtime rules, and the Chiefs were the only ones that actually voted to change it. So in a bit of dramatic irony, as you like, Shnazi, the poetry, it comes around, and obviously we're
redemption.
Redemption.
They'll have another fan. The Bills front office out there, they'll be jumping straight in there to vote against it as well. But you know what? It's one of those things, though, like, if you don't have it, like, could have that game just kept going back and forth?
Oh, exactly. Like, that's the thing. I think it's like, I was stoked that we won, but at the end of the day, like, if Buffalo had got the ball first, Buffalo are probably going down and scoring, because nobody could stop anybody in the last 5 minutes. Like, defenses were just gassed.
Yeah.
And the offenses were, like, too good. They're both too good.
Yeah.
Like, so it's unlucky for Buffalo, and it really doesn't feel like it probably should end up like that, but there's not much we can do.
It's got to end. It has to end, though, right?
Yeah. Let me run this idea by you, Schnaz. I came up with an idea today, and I think it's a good idea. So both teams, you both get the ball in overtime. There's no field goals and no punts. You get the ball at your own 25, and you've got all 4 downs, and you can only score a touchdown, right? And then if you score a touchdown, then the other team gets the ball, and they obviously have to match. If they don't, then obviously you win. And if they do and you didn't score one, you win. Because I think the other thing with overtime that's a bit, because of the way NFL is that you've both, you're never both playing offense at the same time. If we go first and score a field goal because we had to stop it out at your 30-yard line and kick a field goal on 4th and 2, well, then that a field goal ties it, like, for you fellas. So, if you've got 4th down at the 50, you're obviously going to go for it. You're not going to punt. So it sort of makes it like you get an extra down if you go second in overtime. So I think eliminate the punting, eliminate the field goals, only score touchdowns, still 10 yards, 4 attempts, but whatever, but just only touchdowns count, and you just start drives at the 25 and go till someone can't score. Yeah,
spot on. It needs to be recalibrated, right?
It's just not
right. The system it needs an overhaul. And we've seen it twice in three years now. So it needs to change, but you still can't. Like, the Bills, I don't think they go away this offseason and they go, we were hard done by. Like, you've still got to win the game in regulation, and they had the upper hand there, right? They had 13 seconds on the clock. They just needed to get one good defensive play, and then they win the game, and they couldn't deliver.
I think they were blocking the boundary.
Yeah.
They were setting up to make sure that the Chiefs couldn't run out of bounds when the Chiefs took just the middle of the field and then called a timeout. In the postseason games, there's been 10 games that have gone to overtime, I think, in the last few years, and 9 out of the 10 teams that have won the coin flip have won the game. The only team that didn't, the Saints.
Yeah.
And they're
The Bills call tails as well, right?
yeah,
Who
cool
calls
tails.
tails?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unusual.
That's
Hey, on
going to be more in question than the squib kick.
Yeah, I think so. Is there a question mark? Stephon Diggs got taken right out of this game, Schnars. He had 3 catches for just 7 yards. Obviously, Gabriel Davis took advantage of the attention that he was getting, going off for an NFL record 4 touchdowns in the postseason.
Never been done.
Never been
And
done.
you lose.
Yeah.
8 receptions, 201 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. So, the tale of 2 tapes, Stephon obviously comes up a bit light. You get enough out of Gabe Davis, but then you look at the superstars on the other side of the ball. Obviously, you know what Kelsey and Hill are going to do. And, ultimately, it's Hill that gets them in that position in the first place with that electric 60-yard touchdown. And
he's just different, man.
Then you get Hill and Kelsey obviously to tie and then Kelsey to finish it. Do you read much? Is that the difference? Is that really where it boils down? Like the Stephon Diggs?
I don't think so. I think Josh Allen wouldn't have been able to do any more if Stephon Diggs played better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he got all the production he needed out of Gabe Davis. He got it out of Cole Beasley. He got even Devin Singletary got a few receptions. Dawson Knox came up with 2 catches. Yeah. And then you had as well, like Diggs caught the 2-point conversion as well. So he contributed in that way. But he was being doubled for most part of the game, which just left glaring holes in the defense. And then Josh Allen was just picking that apart with Gabe Davis.
Yeah,
or he was either running and finding first downs for fun on 3rd or 4th down as well. Same with Pat Mahomes too, right?
I think the Chiefs did an amazing job of taking Stephon Diggs out of the game, which I think is what they're going to have to do this weekend with Jamar Chase.
Much less with Tyrann Mathieu out.
Yeah, amazing.
So that job was
they're going to have to make T. Higgins beat them on the weekend if they're going to, you just can't allow someone to go off. Like Gabriel Davis going off, like you can move past that because it's like, we took Stephon Diggs out of it, so someone else was going to be open because
Josh Allen is that good.
Yeah, so it's like, well, make Gabriel Davis beat you rather than Stephon Diggs. So.
And to his credit, I mean, he did his absolute best to do that.
100%.
Like Gabe Davis didn't put
it was fantastic.
Ultimately, if Tyrann Mathieu's there, does he get those touchdowns up the streak there? Like
that last one, defense was completely unorganized, not ready at all, and that's not how they would have been if Tyrann Mathieu was out there. And then just walked it in basically. It was easy as you like. And then the one before that, they were unlucky where Hughes fell over. Yeah.
So obviously Buffalo go home, Schnazzy, your Buffalo Bills. I dare say you're bandwagoning across onto Cincinnati this weekend, are you?
Nah, look, I think I said last week, my prediction was Bucks versus Rams, right? No, not Bucks versus Rams. Who did I say? Bucks versus Bills.
Yes.
So both those teams have lost. So I'm jumping onto the teams that beat them. So my Rams.
Yeah. So
I'll tell you what.
I took Chiefs and Rams last week, I said, for the Super Bowl. And I actually think I said that at the start of the year because I was very hot on Stafford. Remember, I had that $100 MVP bet that has not quite panned out. Yeah.
But I was kind of leading in a little bit there with the Cincinnati Bengals. I know it's a bit harder to do your segues when you're accessing
Synergy.
Remotely like this.
You can't see the board.
Yeah, the body language, the energy in the room is a bit different.
So I thought we were going reverse order. That's where you lost me on the synergies.
Yeah, no.
But anyways,
I thought we were going reverse
because
order.
I'm really going to stick you here because I want to preview the Chiefs Bengals game.
I can't even see the board. I'm at a huge disadvantage. But anyway, this Bengals game, right? Like I don't know what to make. You get sacked 9 times and you still win a game. Yeah. You also had players like T. Higgins probably dropped 3 catches that were easy first downs and ended up going 3 and out on.
Yep.
You don't really see a lot on that team besides Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. Their offensive line is no chop at all. So, you've got...
It's that treatment that Diggs did.
It's going to be up to T. Higgins and Joe Mixon to beat us.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, with the way T. Higgins played, he's not going to beat you. And then the other receivers, I don't even really know who they are. They got P. Ryan, and P. Ryan had that fumble towards the end. And they've also got Tyler Boyd, who's okay, but they don't really have much in receiver outside of those 2 players. So, as you said, Slammer, if you can give Chase the Stephon Diggs treatment, look, and you guys just put up points like you were putting them up in the second half there, I don't think there's any way the Bengals are going to go for you, especially when you're at least going to get 4 to 5 sacks on that O-line.
At least you would have thought, because I wouldn't have said that Tennessee's defensive line is that fantastic.
No.
And the way
they look like
the way that Melvin Ingram's been playing, he is like the pickup of the year.
He for a
has been
6th round
fantastic.
pick. Yeah, I thought
Absolutely fantastic.
I actually said to you as we were watching it remotely, obviously just trading barbs across Facebook Messenger, that Melvin Ingram was the guy for me, and he got so close on that 3rd and long, or maybe the 4th and long.
If he hadn't had to hurdle the line, it would have been all right.
Yeah, and he was so close to making that
Even
play.
Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton's so good.
Yeah.
Like, criminally underrated. Doesn't get talked about at all because of Micah Parsons.
I just love
that. If it wasn't for Micah Parsons, he'd be putting together a defensive rookie of the year type season.
Yeah. I'm circling around to, obviously, this is a Chiefs heavy show. It always has been, Schnazzies. You have to bear with us here a little bit, but I think the Chiefs are capable of there's so many players on that team that rise to the occasion, and we've seen it for a couple of years.
They follow Pat. You can see it.
Yeah.
When Pat's on, the Chiefs are on.
He is just
where he throws a pick or he gets hit too many times in the pocket, his head drops, the team's head drops.
Yeah.
But when he plays like he's played the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, like all these players come out of the woodwork.
They're almost. He hasn't ever lost a home playoff game.
And you've seen
that's ridiculous.
You've seen the the commentators and the analysts start to come out of the woodwork a little bit, and
they've done a big 180.
From earlier on in the year, now the narrative has become the word of the immortal Michael Jordan.
He's Michael Jordan of football.
That name has started to spruik around, the high-profile American sports shows.
Notice how it does every year around January, February, and then by like October, November, if he has like 2 bad games, they kill him again because he like plays differently to Brady. Like he's not a pocket passer, so it's like, his mechanics were never that good, and his footwork's crap, and when fuck, give me a spell. Like,
mate, this will be a really interesting one.
The bloke's made 4 conference finals in 4 years of being a starter, and he's played them all at home, and he's never lost a home playoff game. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's nuts. It is nuts. Hey,
I think circling back to the Titans and Bengals game as well, the Bengals aren't going to rely on 3 picks this week either. Like, they picked Tannehill.
Yeah.
Titans they've got a lot happening there, right? So they've got some good receivers. They've got a good running game, obviously. It didn't click. Quarterback's their weak link. Moves are it's going to be over their summer, all head. It's going to hang around. What's going to happen over there?
100%. I think I said in our group chat that like his job position has to be up in the air. Like,
one of those ones as well. Where do they get a quarterback from? You're probably not going to attract it.
Right. Yeah. But like on the weekend, outside of the like in the 2 AFC games, Mahomes and
Josh
Allen aside, because they're pretty much flip a coin. They're both ridiculous. But like the difference in the Cincinnati Tennessee game was glaringly obvious. That the difference was who had the better quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't
100%.
close. Tannehill's he's a good quarterback.
He's a great system.
He's a top 15 quarterback in the world. Yeah. But there is a glaring difference between the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks and
between good and great
and the next 10. Like they're just different. They do different things. Like, and when it mattered most, Tannehill threw a pick.
Yeah.
Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes didn't throw picks, and Joe Burrow on the weekend didn't throw picks.
Yeah.
Like that's the difference.
That's the difference. Hey, should we?
I think just to round out this game as well, the Bengals here, just the comment I made to you boys as well was, if they don't improve their O-line to protect Joe Burrow, he's gonna find himself out of the league in 5 years, which is after injury. Like, he's got superstar talent. We know he's a bit older too. He's already 25 and he's only in his 2nd year because he did the 5 years at college. But they need to protect him quick because they've just found themselves in a window and in a position too where they can dominate this division year on year.
I feel like they've shot there probably 2 years ahead of where even they had projected they would be there. Because we all bashed their pick for Jamar Chase this year, saying they should have gone O-line. Look,
I mean, Penn would have been good on the weekend. Like,
Jamar Chase is good, case, but without Jamar Chase, they're probably not where they are. Let's be fair.
Yeah, spot on. I'll give you that.
In the next 2 drafts, if their first 2-3 picks on both those drafts aren't on offensive line, there's an issue.
Maybe some safeties too, because they got Eli Apple there, and my hate for Eli Apple is at a Jeff Okuda level.
He got his hand in on that interception with 20 seconds to go. He got them to an AFC
I
championship.
know. Because I baked him after he gave
I know,
away that
you
penalty
did.
for taunting. I was like, what have you done? Every team you've gone to has got rid of you the following year. You were a top 10 draft pick, and now look at you on a 1-year contract in Cincinnati.
And then
You've
he
gone
said-
from New York to Cincinnati. But he redeemed himself there, and he played okay. But come on, Eli.
Yeah, the big fire up from the big bandwagon fan himself. That'll do wonders for your confidence going into the AFC Championship game.
So we previewed those two. We reviewed both those two games.
Yeah.
So we jumped to the preview of the championship game there.
That's where my head's at, Stasi, I reckon. Good synergy.
Look at how much bigger
So
in your head.
Yeah, just by comparison, we're just having a quick suss on the screen. There's yours got its own gravitational pull.
You
Mine's
sit
just-
back and I'll sit back. You sit forward a long way and they'll even out.
You can kind of
glad we rehearsed this before the show because this is content. It keeps on giving.
You just can't.
Same as head.
This is just homegrown Aussie.
This is why the crown. This is why the clown hat would never fit on your head.
Yeah. Not to mention the glisten off our heads because it's just so hot in
The
here.
sweat is coming in. Something
Good
chronic
Lord.
over this side of the border.
So we probably get through this pretty quickly. But 3 Chiefs.
Yeah, 3 Chiefs.
3 Chiefs going into the game. I think the main storyline, the main watch for me is obviously that offensive line at Cincinnati.
Main watch. I thought you said bang watch.
No, bang watch is just whatever Patrick Mahomes does.
Yeah.
I bashed my monkey for that.
Oh, Christ.
But yeah.
I meant Bengals, but anyway. Sure. Yeah, I think they're in this game.
Glad to be a part of this.
It's not like it wouldn't be ridiculous if they won, but I think they start rank outsiders. I think bookies have got the Chiefs at about $1.30 to win this one, and the Bengals, I can't remember what they were to win the game, but to win the whole Super Bowl, they're about $9. So if you like the Bengals, $9 is good odds.
Yeah.
Well, they played, what was it, 3 weeks ago now, and the Bengals won 34-31. And that was a good game. And Joe Burrow did play unbelievably that game. He threw 450 yards, 4 touchdowns. And I reckon Jamar Chase had three touchdowns that day too. So it reiterates that point that we had, right? You shut down Jamar Chase, you stop Joe Burrow, you win the game.
And the thing in that one as well was the Chiefs scored 3 points after halftime. I don't think they're doing that in a conference final at home.
Nah, not with the wave they're riding at the minute either, right?
No, they're red hot.
No.
Anyway, Shanaz, since you can't see the board, which one would you like to hit into next? SFGB or LARTB?
Love the acronyms. We'll go LA and Tampa.
Okay.
LA
Tampa. Right, sorry. There was something on the screen we had to read.
LA Tampa. So obviously the end of Tampa Tom's season. There's been a bit of noise.
And the Tampa Tom, maybe.
Yes, well, that's it. There's a bit of noise going around. Smoke and mirrors. I think there's no way he's going to want to go out like that.
He'll play.
Big question.
Can I jump in? I'm one of the biggest Tom Brady fans, and it's a well-known fact on this show. And Blaze, you're a huge cynic, a non-believer.
Yeah, cynic.
An atheist. I don't know. Call it what you want, right?
Cynic's
but everyone goes, "Oh, Tom Brady nearly got them back into the game on the weekend." No, the Rams lost the game.
Correct.
They really lost themselves the game. There was
100%.
After half time, they could have not have done anything more to lose the game, the Rams.
Well, what about the fumble on the opposition 1 yard line before half time? They go in there, they're 34-3 up. You can't lose.
My man Cam fumbled that too.
Yeah.
So egg on my face.
We had
and then the snap over Stafford's head. But I have one thing on the Rams. This is my main takeaway. And it's almost like as soon as Jared Goff, if he starts the game well and he's confident, he gets too confident and then he just makes boneheaded plays.
Jared Goff.
Stafford.
Jared's season ended at about week 8 when they couldn't make it.
Jared's season ended when he got traded to Detroit.
No, but your point is valid, but your name was incorrect.
Yeah. Sorry. Apologies. I was just on it. I was 2 miles ahead of myself there. But right, he just almost like he looks so good. He looks so good, and then he just, I don't know, he just thinks he's a superstar player, and then he just all of a sudden crumbles.
He made up for it in the last minute, though. 2 big plays to Cooper Kupp.
Oh, I know. He didn't really need to have to do that, though. If he made one good play in the third quarter, they win the game.
That's not a bad point.
But when it, you could imagine,
the Bucs secondary as well
completely crumbles there. once it gets to 27-27. So at least he did have the presence to come back from that and make some plays late to get him there. I just think it's.
But even talking about even the play call from the Bucks, just one-on-one against Cooper Kupp. There's only one guy that's going to beat you in that situation.
Oh, 100%. I just think it's crazy that Los Angeles are one win away from having. We're one win away from having back-to-back teams have back-to-back home Super Bowls. And the Chiefs could have to play them both, and that's going to give me the shits.
That could send you off the top rope.
However, like, you know what would be weird?
That would do it if they win it in overtime. That could be.
You know what would be weird though? If it's Kansas City versus San Fran, they've both played once in that stadium this year because both of those teams have divisional rivals where that team's a home.
So far.
Yeah, so they're both. 3 of the 4 teams have played a home game.
What would you call that?
So
that's synergy.
That is synergy, but it's weird away synergy.
It's unusual synergy.
Don't mind it.
It's hard dealing with the bandwagon fan remotely, because it's not the instantaneous.
Yeah.
Like,
you got that slight time lag on my way. And I might just start doing like just to like really. I look at this Rams game, right, in 2 halves. If they play the way they played in the first half, they're on par with Buffalo and Kansas City, right? They played phenomenally in that first half. Their defense was unreal. Their defense was playing lights out. Their offense was playing pretty well. The second half, Big Paul loves it. Their second half, my biggest question about the Rams is I'm going to back the Rams in to beat the 49ers. We'll get to the 49ers, but I don't think their offense can go 4 straight quarters of unreal football, whereas a Chiefs or even a Buffalo, although they're out, they showed that they can go 4 straight quarters.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah.
Gunslinging football, where the Rams I just don't have that faith in Stafford. And we've always pegged Stafford as being an overachiever and an underachieving team, or a shit team, let's call it what it is, right? But now he's in the spotlight. He's in the team. He's got all the pieces. This is where he's going to make a name for himself, because if he capitulates here, it's only got himself to blame.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's clearly the best quarterback in that game this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so if they were to stuff this up.
If he loses to Garoppolo,
even if
trade him for Trey Lance.
Even if Garoppolo wasn't dealing with the shoulder and the thumb that he already is, which is obviously rendering him next to useless. And I mean, we can probably jump across a little bit to the Green Bay game now. Like, to lose that.
The thing here is as well, though, Blaze, like San Francisco beat LA in LA 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we're down, was it 17-0 in that game?
Yeah.
But they come back
both games we're seeing on the weekend 3 weeks ago, the away team won.
And I'm picking both teams that lost to win.
Well, we all know it's a different ball game.
Lightning doesn't strike twice, Slammer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I think Lightning was definitely the case in the Cincinnati situation.
I
think there was some circumstances there that kind of got him through. But I think when it comes to San Francisco going into LA, everyone's going to talk about Jimmy G, and that head-to-head battle with Stafford is going to be important.
Yeah.
You've also got 2 of arguably the most valuable skills position players to their respective teams in the league in Cooper Kupp and Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting parity in there. Deebo doing a lot, obviously, in the running game.
Great defensive ends for both these teams as well,
So does it come down?
Defensive front.
Does it come down to the difference in the secondary with someone like Jalen Ramsey? Is that going to be the edge?
They've got Ward.
Yeah.
Like, both these teams have got good defensive players and are a bit different on offense. They don't do it super conventionally.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hell of a game. But when you've played each other twice through the year and you've got those nuances, and hang on a second. Isn't it the Niners who have won like 8 of their last 9 against the Rams?
Yeah, they've got the wood over them hard. I'm not sure if it's that far, but it could be close.
I think it is. I don't think it is.
Schneider can probably do a fact check because he's probably off the other screen at the minute. But I would suggest that
they've played twice this year and they've won twice.
Yeah. The Niners did won twice. Yeah, I think they've won like 8 of the last 9 against them.
Well, it's going to be interesting
because Shanahan's got McVay's number.
Well, that's the other sub. The sub story.
It is very interesting. I love when divisional teams match up in the playoffs because you're like, you're getting a hell of a game where they know each other.
Yeah.
And when 2 teams can get both through, when they've both had to go on the road and win games, you're probably getting the 2 best teams because they've had to do it the hard way.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be a hell of a game.
I think as well, if we go back to our season previews as well, I think we both had the Niners pegged to be one of the top sides, and we both had the Rams finishing top.
Yeah.
of the conference.
I had the Rams finishing top of the conference. Yeah.
So I think it's probably worked. It's gone in swings and roundabouts. We finally got to where we thought we would land here. And this division's all it's cracked up to be as well. Like there's
100%.
Seattle dropped off, and we know that. But historically, there's been 4 unbelievably great teams there.
Yeah.
The big one for mine here is, and I've said this all along, I don't recall the last Super Bowl winner to ever not have an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Flacco.
It's probably.
And when was that? Was that the 2008 Ravens?
Yeah, eight, I reckon. Yeah.
And we've been through many quarterbacks since then, and the consistent theme is that the good quarterbacks always win. And not to discredit Colin Kaepernick or anything, but he wasn't an elite quarterback. So Joe Flacco wasn't going up against a Tom Brady, a Peyton Manning, like an Eli Manning type Super Bowl winning quarterback, right? Yeah. So it was a bit of an even matchup. Yeah. He's going to go up against likely Pat Mahomes, and I don't think you're going to see Garoppolo winning that.
Yeah, no, I think
similarly this weekend. I think all the pressure's going to get to them. They've been on an absolute tear, 6 of the last 7 wins. They beat the Rams twice, but I think it's just going to come crashing down for them this week. And they probably got lucky on the weekend because their offense didn't do much. And Slammer, you called it. The special teams won the game for them.
100%. They did nothing on offense. Absolutely nothing. The lucky part for them was neither could Green Bay. Yeah. They blocked a field goal, which would have put Green Bay up 13-0 or 13-3, and then block a punt with 6 minutes to go to tie it all up. Ridiculous. That's so really all 3 phases there won the game for them because special teams won them the game. They couldn't do much on offense, but Green Bay played well defensively to their credit. But I mean,
wasn't ideal conditions either.
Where to for Green Bay? They're like 50 million over the cap heading into the offseason for next year.
It's blowing up.
Yeah,
it's blowing up hard. I don't think Rodgers comes back personally. I think he's done that kind of exit. You know, the way his body language leaving Lambeau, it just didn't seem like he's going to be able to come back.
Hasn't had a good body language all year. Besides his record, a lot of things got swept under the rug with how good they've been playing on the field, but a lot of off the field issues there.
I think he's either retiring or he's going elsewhere.
I think he's going elsewhere. I think Pittsburgh, to be perfectly honest. But just to butt in just for 2 seconds. The 49ers have beaten the Rams in 7 of the last 9 and have won the last 6.
Yeah,
so that means the Rams haven't beaten the Niners in 3 years.
It's unbelievable.
The last time the Rams beat the Niners, 30th of December, 2018.
Yeah. Well,
that's massive.
That would have been on the road to the Super Bowl, right?
That would have been on the Rams' road to the Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Probably the last game of that year, which probably means that they'd already locked up the 1 or 2 seed and couldn't, rested players.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's huge.
It's
huge. Stats like that just want to make you pick the Niners, but I just can't pick the Niners because of the quarterback.
That's
and
though, that's nuts, especially for divisional.
Yeah. Oh, that's having the wood over someone.
That is seriously. That's
and a good team at that too. Like the Rams haven't been a walkover the last 3 years. They made a Super Bowl 3 years ago.
Yeah.
They've
and then been around the mark.
And normally we call divisional games 50-50 all the time as well.
100%. Yeah. Especially in that division. That's a wacky division.
Yeah. It's huge. It's an interesting stat, that's for sure.
That is. Do you remember last week how I said Green Bay's record in home playoffs was phenomenal and now it's fallen off a cliff?
Hit me with it.
Okay. Do you remember me saying that? Anyway, so I took a picture today. Yep, here it is. So between 1961 and 2001, the Packers went 12-0 at home in the playoffs. Never lost. Between 2002 and 2022, they are 7-7 at home. The most playoff home losses in that time. And Brett Favre was only responsible for 1. So Aaron Rodgers has been the quarterback for the other 6.
Duck egg Rodgers, hey?
That is not good.
And
his record in the playoffs is 7 wins and 9 losses since that Super Bowl win, 10, 11 years ago. So he is the opposite of clutch.
Yes.
He is not Patrick Mahomes.
I think that illusion of him being the baddest man in football, Aaron Rodgers is a bad man.
Week 1 to 18.
Yeah. By all means.
Baddest regular season man going around.
Yeah, that's it.
Likes getting the discount holidays early in playoffs.
Yeah, that's not what.
Sure.
That's
The
not
old
what
2-for-1 at Disneyland in Orlando. Loves it.
Charlene
Charlene Woodley.
Yeah, get her in
We haven't
there.
mentioned her in a while. Shout out to Charlene Woodley.
Yeah,
I think
she's
she.
doing
I
all
think she got in an Instagram post of Blazers the other day, so
right.
that's
She did.
all right.
No, she squeezed it in the actual thumbnail.
Oh,
for
the
video.
thumbnail. That's what it was. There you
she's
go.
Really
Oh, huge.
You know, sometimes you just slip Charlene under the radar there a little bit. And
Might have to get back out and watch the Divergent series just as a refresher.
you could have done it last week. You might have got the Packers over the line, brother.
Oh, you know what? Talking of tipping, so what? We all went 2-2.
Correct.
Yeah, and you
And I was
started. You started 2-0.
I started 2-2. And all I had to do was clutch one of the last two games, and I would have won the overall tipping because I would have been 4 up with 3 to go. And I was sitting there and I was counting. I was like, "Oh, this is so good."
Yeah.
And then, not so
Well,
good. So
you're lucky that San Fran's special teams came to the party there too, because otherwise I'd be one in front of you.
yeah, I know.
Mm.
Wouldn't be great. But anyways, here we are.
You live and learn.
I've just remembered another stat that I saw on the weekend. Didn't even screenshot this one, but it's up in the noggin.
Yeah.
Teams from California going to Green Bay in the postseason had a record before the game on the weekend of 2 wins and 12 losses. So that's the Raiders. Well, the Raiders wouldn't have because they're an AFC team. So that was stupid them adding that graphic in. But the Niners and the Rams.
Or Super Bowl, maybe.
2 and 12.
Oh, no, going into Lambeau.
Yeah, into Lambeau. Yeah. 2 and 12 in postseason.
All right.
Mm.
Did you feel like that stat was that good?
Well, I think it's pretty good considering they flipped it.
Yeah.
Well, because I was saying it's hot in Cali and it's in January in Green Bay it's a bit chilly.
And you're a big believer in geography. You always play a part in your tips every week. So
Yeah, right. That's why I tipped Green Bay.
Geography has dictated a lot in the history of this show, the 2-season history of this
And the
show.
weather.
And the weather, of course. Those two are linked.
And closing out the game, we're just on here. Is there anything better than Robbie Gould sinking the Packers?
No.
Like, he was a Bear. He's been at the Bears for a long time, Gould, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now he comes back out, and the video of him before the game when they're doing the intros of all the Packers fans, he's sitting out there like 5 yards to the right of him, just kicking field goals.
Yeah, just kicking it straight over.
And he's playing mental games. He was on another level.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of kickers as well, the young fella at Cincinnati,
Yeah.
the 5th round pick or whatever he was, apparently he did his warm up, told the backup quarterback, he's like, "Yep, we've won this game," as he was walking out to kick the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think he said it. I think he said it to Burrow.
No, he said it to the backup quarterback. Then Burrow said it in the press conference. But I was just sitting there going like, "How is the nuts on this bloke? Like,
it wasn't a chip shot. I think his exact words were, "It looks like we're off to the AFC Championship."
yeah.
That's
I
big
got the quote here. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow said their kicker Evan McPherson did a couple of warm-up kicks before the game winner, then told backup quarterback Brandon Allen, "Well, looks like we're going to the AFC Championship game." A few moments later, he kicked the game-winning field goal, 52 yards.
Yeah.
That's big nuts.
I like that. That's why he drafted kicker in the 5th round, apparently. That's what I reckon.
Yeah. Remember when Tampa took that kicker?
Pardon?
Remember when Tampa took that kicker in like round 2 and he was out of the league in like 6 months?
He won the Lou Groats like best kicker in college award. He
was awesome in college.
He was at FSU. Wasn't he?
Florida State. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Tampa Bay drafted kickers that have come back to bite them in the arse, the one that sunk them on the weekend kicking for the Rams was actually originally drafted by Tampa in the 6th.
Matt Gay. Was he really? There you go.
So
I think
swings and roundabouts.
Wasn't Janikowski drafted by the Raiders in the 2nd round? And but that's just typical Raiders. They did weird shit at the draft. Remember they took last year and like picked 4.
Just bash the Raiders.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, they somehow still went the playoffs.
It's hot as fuck in here. We don't need to run through every fuck up the Raiders.
We don't have time.
Do you remember the 1996 draft when?
No,
we got to quickly preview the 49ers and Rams, all right?
Yeah.
I've gone the Rams purely out of quarterback v quarterback competition. Yeah, I've gone the Niners top, but I was actually sitting there. I was like, well, I have a Rams and have a Niners one. Yeah. I've got all the gear. I'm the bandwagon fan. But it's simply quarterback to quarterback. That's why I have gone the Rams.
I am with you. We've got the same tips this weekend, so it's going to come down to who we tip in the Super Bowl, whether I can catch you or not. And if you're thinking Chiefs, then I'm in trouble. So yeah, I'm with you. I've gone quarterback. It's at home, but I'm a little bit alarmed that I've found out that their last 6 games against the Niners have won, which probably leads into Blaze.
I've jumped on the Niners.
Oh,
and I'm currently playing for second. So
yeah, he can't catch you. There's not enough games left.
I'm 3 behind when you.
And actually, you can't even catch me.
I cannot possibly take the Bengals to try and sneak that because it would just be absolutely abhorrent of me. So I am on the Niners this week. Obviously, the 3 Chiefs and the boys in the booth.
Yeah.
AFC action is palpable on the back of the Bills, but it's going to have to wait and see if the Bengals can recreate that action from late in the season where they did knock off the Chiefs.
It's going to be a hell of a weekend. It's going to be a hella good games.
So we get the games Monday morning, yeah? So we got, for Australian viewers, 6 a.m. Monday morning, Bengals versus Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then 10 o'clock for the showdown in California.
Yeah, I had to put my hand up at work and call sick.
Did you?
Ahead of time this time.
Brave of you.
I felt guilty about the hour and a half lunch break.
Did you?
This week.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure I did the right thing there. Get the help in early and get through.
That's fair too.
Hey, I think that might just about do us in the sweatbox.
Thank Christ, yeah.
This side.
It's also.
It's
I'll tell you what, the aircon's not working in here because I didn't want to ruin the mic. But the call center working's tough.
Shout out to our boy, the Bears fan back home. He's always in the call center at home at the minute. But hey, thanks again for joining us on Slim Sam and the Bandwagon Fan. Obviously, something a bit different tonight.
Real VR experience.
Get your headsets on. Join us virtually to really get amongst the action here. We'll obviously be back with our Super Bowl preview. Maybe not next week on the back heels, or maybe we'll do a review and a preview show. What do you reckon? That probably sounds about right. A review of the championship game.
Oh, we've got the NFC versus the AFC in the Pro Bowl too that we're going to have to preview and review too. So we'll be in the booth next week.
I don't think that's going to make it into the show, but it's nice to see that Aaron Rodgers has taken real football off of his mind just so he can go and play in the Pro Bowl.
That's important. I think one of the main points here to make is that if the Chiefs lose this week, and there won't be another episode of Slim Sam and the Bandwagon Fan until next year.
Yeah.
So, if you've enjoyed tonight,
I have to start my own Zoom calls there and it wants to tune in.
Make sure you subscribe and like the podcast.
It's called a radio show, mate.
I'm doing a live podcast where people can call in. That's called Talkback, brother.
Yeah. Might call up 5AA as well on the way back to the couch. Yeah. See if they got a spare 50-minute segment each week where I come dribble shit.
I reckon they would. I've seen some of the stuff they put on.
Well, they're still trotting KG out there at 95 years old.
Drive-bys at KG.
Absolutely. No, I don't like KG. But hey, thanks again for joining us on Slim Sam the Bandwagon Fan. Wherever you get your podcast, YouTube, all the good stuff, keep showing us the love there. It's been really enjoying the last couple of weeks on the social channels there. Keep the engagement up. We like engaging with you.
3 games to go.
Hope you're enjoying the footage. Slammer, get us out of here, please.
He's been Slam. I've been Slam. That's call center Tom. Good night. Thanks for taking time.